Testing the live audio. We are live. Hey, everybody. So we'll probably just go ahead and get started very soon. He's here? So I just want to let you know if you could find a seat if you don't already have one. Yeah, Hey, okay. So if everyone could just shut up, especially this front row. I'm just kidding. All right. Hey, everybody. Thank you for coming to a Tab meetup. This is our August meetup. We've been running this for almost 4 years. It's probably one of the longest lasting meetups in the space, or longest running meetups in the space. First thing we do, I quickly just go over the sponsors, and let me do that real quick. Hide.me, there are VPN sponsors that accepts cryptocurrency, so you can be a little bit more anonymous while surfing the web, especially with your registration with that VPN service. One thing you can go to is the Meetup page. There's a 35% off discount rate if you want to use Hide.me. So I recommend it. I've been using them for many years. Founders Legal, they are actually in this building upstairs, and they will provide legal services and advice. They usually, when they're available, they do a legal update minute, which would be really cool since we had the Craig Wright, like $500 billion lawsuit or something just come up. So anyways, BitPay, they're in the back right here. I also have a slide for them. Next slide. But payment processor, one of the best ones, one of the longest running ones. Bear Tax will help you specifically. Tax advice in the crypto space. They also have a slide that they gave me. So they're really big on help. I really like these people. They're fairly new. They've only been around our meetup for like a couple months, but they're really like they're active in the Telegram group. They're like posting advice if you got like a IRS letter from like Coinbase, and they're actually really cool guys. Gino's Barber. So if you like my haircut and this fade I got going on, make sure if you want that, go for it. If you're a girl, go for it. If you want to be brave, go for the fade. Yeah. So they also accept cryptocurrency. Tyrion, that's a company I actually used to work for. If you want to timestamp stuff against Bitcoin for free in a scalable way, this is how you do it. You use something like Tyrion, and it's a really cool timestamping service. They have nodes on the network that have an open API that you can hit. It's very easy to use. Bitcoin Depot, one of the biggest Bitcoin ATM like distributors, or I guess you could say they have like one of the biggest footprints of any brand. I think they have about 100 Bitcoin ATMs. Does anyone know? Is anyone from Bitcoin ATM? Bitcoin Depot here? All right, anyways, they have, if you go to Coin Radar or Coin ATM Radar, you can see like Atlanta has like at least 50 of them. And you might have a Bitcoin ATM closer to your house than you think. And last but not least, Edge Wallet. We are doing a giveaway today in Edge, so if you go to Twin Peaks afterwards, I will be giving some cryptocurrency away from you if you download the Edge Wallet. All right, let's see. All right, so James, did you want to? Okay, so James is with BitPay. He's going to say a few words with BitPay.
Thanks, Michael. Hey, everybody. Good to see you again. If I've seen you before, nice to meet you if I haven't. BitPay helps make technology to let you spend and accept Bitcoin payments, Bitcoin and blockchain payments. We've been here in Atlanta since 2012 here at the Tech Village, over there, now up in Alpharetta. And we are We do help Dallas Mavericks now accept Bitcoin payments, as well as AT&T recently. So if you're looking for a way to spend your crypto, it's a good way to do it. But I wanted to share a few quick updates on our wallet, our BitPay app, which lets you create multi-signature wallets with Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, and testnet. Recently, we also added a single seed backup, so you can back up multiple currencies, multiple wallets with one backup phrase. The ability to send to Bech32 SegWit addresses, so not full SegWit support yet, but little improvement there. And also, we have tons and tons of gift cards in the app. So if you're the kind of person who you like the idea of spending your crypto or using your crypto, or if you just get some gains and you want to turn that into a pizza or something for the Tab Meetup, we have like 5,000 gift cards in the wallet where you can just type in an amount. Let's say on GameStop here, I can type in $27.31. Like if you're literally in the checkout line at GameStop and your game costs that much money, you just type it in. They scan the QR code. Certain ones you have to just redeem a code online, like Amazon, but some cool stuff you can do with that. So this slide here just shows a few of the brands we have as some of the cool stuff you can do. So we try to kind of combine the convenience of spending and flexibility and conversion with this hardcore security of you can do multi-sig up to like 12 cosigners. So kind of a good place to enter crypto, or if you're kind of ready to graduate to the next level of security, try it out. Thanks, Michael. Can we do questions? Okay. How's it going? Ooh.
Is this?
Please, sir, hold the microphone. Do you have a question, sir?
Is there a way to set it up with the BitPay Visa card so that I can use the BitPay Visa card and, in a sense, the overdraft feature sells my Bitcoin to cover that so that I'm not having to sell Bitcoin, fund the debit card, and screw with all that, but instead I use the card, and then every day there's kind of a transaction to sell Bitcoin to cover whatever I charged on the card? I know there's not, but why isn't there?
Okay, all right, so I'm not sure I've exactly followed, but I'm not sure I exactly followed. That's a really cool idea. So we don't have a way to buy Bitcoin in the app yet, but that would be a really cool feature to have, so you could continue to
So I got the BitPay
Yes.
Visa.
Okay.
I go out and I do $100, $300.
Yes.
And then at the end of the day, you guys do the magic to liquidate $300 of my Bitcoin to cover what I spent for the day.
So we aren't a custodian. The BitPay wallet, another thing to note, not a custodial wallet, so BitPay is not like holding the funds. With the BitPay card, there is an account associated to that, so you're linking an account to the card. What's happening is you're preloading the card with dollars using Bitcoin. So it's a conversion at the point of loading, not at the point of sale. It's a little different from how like the Shift card works, if you ever use that. And there is a security advantage to that for you in that BitPay is not like drawing from your wallet. So you send it to us, we turn it to dollars, and it's held as dollars in the card. But good question. Cool. Thanks very much for using it. Thanks, y'all.
Thanks. And just want to let you know, I didn't really say this earlier. This is kind of a meetup group, like for us, by us. Like if you have a question, if you want to make this a little bit, if you want to be part of this meetup group, you can do it. So we're really open. Yeah, just want to say, like for instance, Quinn today helped bring the pizza. Mike helped bring the beer. Brand Roulette is going to help make these T-shirts that we're going to give away in a little bit. So I'm just letting you know, if you have an idea or you want this meetup to, have a certain presenter or a certain topic, just talk to us or be part of us, and we'll make it to what you want. So I want to say some more things. So I feel like this is kind of like half shill, half advertisement, half like education. So the reason we're going over some more like sponsor stuff is because I think some of this stuff is actually really useful. Bear tax people, bearish on tax. They're in the Telegram group, and they weren't able to come today, but they really wanted me to spread that if you're getting the CP 2501 or 2000 things from the IRS, they have a guide, and I posted that in the Telegram group. If you don't have the Telegram group, I'm going to show that up in a little bit. But they like how to respond, how to prevent this in the future, like tips and tricks. Just letting you know, anyone that's dealing with any IRS issues right now. If you have a question, yeah. Hey, can you pass this to the gentleman back there? Or, there you go.
Thanks. So the CP25s, have you been seeing that coming from Poloniex users, Coinbase users, Kraken, Gemini users? Where is it that you've seen that traders, and at what breakpoint and above have you been seeing them that they've been getting those notices.
So I was going to say, would anyone like to talk about this? Because maybe this is something that it would be interesting for us to talk about.
Yeah, taxes and death, you know?
Mike, did you
Anybody, raise your hands if you've gotten one of these letters.
want to?
Anybody here?
Don't feel obligated.
I mean, if you want to, if you want to volunteer that information. I will tell you, I have not, and I've traded on most of those platforms. But, yes, I do know people who have. I don't remember which one of the letters. There are now 3 letters. There's a, hey, we're watching letter. There's a, hey, we know you did something letter. And then there's a, you owe exactly this amount. So, and they only put out like 10,000 of the first letter. So it's really small. If you're talking about the entirety of Bitcoin users, even in the United States of America, 10,000 is not that much, I would think. I mean, it'd be a lot cheaper if it was.
Everyone who came to this meetup today, you're on the list now.
Did you fill out the form? No. But yeah, no, I don't have any special knowledge of it. I'm just glad I didn't get a letter.
So I would say if you find that interesting, I would be interested if you wanted to maybe lead a discussion on Telegram with Bear Tax about that. I personally don't have much information on it, so yeah, sure. Mhm. Cool. Cool. Good thing I was broke back then. All right. Okay, so Edge Wallet, like I mentioned, we're going to give away cryptocurrency via our sponsor Edge. I'm going to give that away at Twin Peaks, so if you come to the after party, I'll give you a little bit. And that's all I wanted to say there. Make sure. Ed is losing money, but he wants to help education of, well, I don't know how you would describe it. He wants to help spread the word of Bitcoin. He bought a bunch of these books, and he's selling them for $5. He paid more than that per book, so I'm just letting you know he's not like ripping you off. But these books, we have a couple of them over here. If you're interested in buying a book that would be specialized for like kids learning or people who just are getting into the space, maybe you can say a couple words if you want. You have to wait for it to pre-warm.
Check 2, 3. At the Magical Crypto Conference up in New York, the Bitcoin Rabbi is what he calls himself. He was hawking this book, and it's very simple. It does a good job of explaining it. Whoa! It does a good job of explaining it. My kids got it. Everybody I've given it to, the kids get it, and then even the parents who are reading it go, "Oh, I get it now." And one of the things that we found is that adults don't get it. The kids get it immediately. So, starting to explain this to children is part of a 10, 15-year process. But anyways, I've got about 10 of them here. I can bring another 10 next time if I sell out. Or you can get it on Amazon for, I think, 18.
Yeah. So that's what I'm talking about. If you think that if you want to do something, hey, Rich, if you want to do something to help the meetup group, feel free. And he accepts BTC, not BCH. All right. I'm not going to say that. All right. So speaking of altcoins, we are doing. Just kidding, Bryce. We're doing a Mastering Ethereum book. We're on chapter 13. Feel free to jump in at any chapter. We run these near the Sweetwater Brewery on Wednesdays that we don't have this meetup. And we've been having a lot of fun digging into why Ethereum sucks, why some parts of Ethereum are awesome and great, and all the weird stuff and cool stuff in betweens. And Bryce is one of the people that are really helping lead that, so thank you so much. We're also running another one called Programming Bitcoin. This is Jimmy Song's book. This is a pretty technical dive into actually programming with Python and doing some of the low-level stuff and understanding how elliptical curve cryptography works with Python and how to form transactions and stuff like this. And we have someone else kind of co-hosting this with me, and he's pretty much leading this, someone in Florida right now who's a big fan of what we're doing up here. And this is a remote option only. So Ethereum is in-person or remote, so you can be either for this one. If you are interested in these things, everything's posted on our meetup page, so feel free to be part of it. This is another thing I want to talk about, Bitcoin Atlanta. This is one of the best meetup groups in the world. It might very well be one of the oldest Bitcoin meetup groups in the world. It had a period where it kind of died, but then it's back. But BitPay actually started it back in early 2013. Early 2013, so it was definitely an early meetup in terms of meetups go for crypto. Definitely check these people out. They give away ribs instead of pizza, so that's something to think about. Their food is really good. It's by the Globe Airport, Peachtree DeKalb Airport, so make sure to check them out when they're having. This is our Telegram channel, so if you want to take a picture of this or just open up Telegram and join our groups, Atlanta Blockchain is for like meetup coordination or some general discussions. Tab Dev is going to be very technical stuff. That's where we run Mastering Ethereum, Programming Bitcoin. And after that, I don't know if you heard, they just released Mastering Lightning Network, or they're about to release Mastering Lightning Network with Andreas and Walu. And that's like new news. I don't know if you heard about that. And then there's also the Mastering Monero book that we might cover later. So we kind of get to pick what we want to cover. So if you want to be part of that. Tab Shill, that's literally for everything else. So if you want to shill, if you want to talk about your own event, if you want to, promote yourself, I guess you could say, go to Tab Shill, and that's where like everything else goes. ATL_blockchain is our Twitter. Please follow us. If everyone here followed us right now, we'd double our followers. We don't have that many. I think we only have like, I don't know, maybe 100 or something, but we're at 300? Nice, 300, there you go. I'm going to keep saying this till we're at 1,000, then I'll stop. Hey, if you want to run our Twitter, go for it. I'll let you. All right. Yeah. Dude, it's under ATL blockchain. Dude, Tab is decentralized. If you want to you can be part of Tab too. All right. So TabConf, February, it's right now we're targeting God, it says 2019. It should be 2020. I grabbed the logo from earlier this year. It doesn't really look right. Question? Say again. Yeah, exactly. Time traveling transactions. Yeah, but so we're probably going to target February. The last event was this February or earlier this year. It was a really good time. There was about 400 people, a little over 400 people. Awesome event. I think this time around we're going to really lean on the community to run the conference. So we're going to have one main stage with like panels and speakers and et cetera. But then we'll have probably the grand ballroom be individual like mini villages where people can kind of run their own thing for 2 days, whether they want to do a hackathon, their own like mini conference, stuff like this. If you want to do something on blockchain art for 2 days, if you want to do a hackathon, if you want to do business and blockchain art, I think I already said art, but whatever, payments, lightning, tokens, etc. So we might have multiple villages where they are doing their own thing. If you want to help plan this, just come talk to me, and you can help be part of TabConf 2020. We had some really cool stuff like physical silver, bronze, nickel coins and stuff like collector's items. So we're going to probably do that again this year, and we're right now asking for designs for the physical, like pure Boolean coins that we're going to mint. So one thing about these conferences, every dollar we take in, we just spend back towards the attendees and making sure. All right, there we go. My Mac won't die now. Okay, so like I said, Twin Peaks. That's if you want to come, we have the top floor reserved just for us. So that's for all of us just to go up there, have a beer. That's just down here to the left, so you can just leave out the front, go to Twin Peaks, upstairs. Life hack, if you know you're going to go to Twin Peaks, you can just park at Twin Peaks and get free parking instead of parking here. So just FYI for next time. So, Mike, did you want to say a few words on this?
I don't have any special knowledge of this. I haven't been researching it other than like reading. But well, okay. So how many people here know who this guy is? Okay, yeah. Okay. So how many people know what went down this week regarding this guy? No. Oh wow, a lot less. Okay. So there was this court case in Florida. He's actually been involved in a great number of court cases lately. There was another one that was a libel case that was dismissed in England because people were calling him a fraud. So libel tourism's a thing. So he sued them in England, even though he had no standing to. They dismissed the case because of jurisdictional reasons. But so this guy, he claims to be Satoshi, and he's never provided any cryptographic proof that he is Satoshi. And supposedly there were he laid out this entire scenario where him and this guy named Dave Kleinman, who was a security researcher from Florida, Dave created Bitcoin, and they were both a team that was referred to as Satoshi Nakamoto. That's his story. Well, he called Dave's father after Dave died, and or he sent him an email saying, "Hey, your son and I created Bitcoin together." And of course, his brother, now the guy who died's brother, Ira Kleinman, sued him based on that, and based on all the things he did. He put forth a lot of evidence in discovery that was found out to be manufactured by expert testimony. And the judge said that he was completely discredited and did not believe his testimony, and the judge went so far as to say that he perjured himself and awarded Ira Kleinman, the plaintiff in the case, based on his claim that he was Satoshi and mined all the original Satoshi Bitcoins, about 450,000 Bitcoins. That was the judgment. So this guy now owes about $5 billion that he likely doesn't have. So I find that kind of funny. Yes? Oh, I don't know. I don't know the particulars of that. Oh, okay. So yeah, I don't have a whole lot of special knowledge about it in regards to, again, I've just been following it, so I don't know if that's a later development. So I don't know exactly what was been awarded. Yeah, go ahead. I mean,
How many haircuts does 500,000 Bitcoins buy? Like,
I don't know,
have you done
Alex.
the
How
math?
many does it
A
buy?
lot of haircuts.
So
This is by the way, this is Gino with Gino's barber, or Gino's son
Gino.
with Gino's barber. Yeah.
yeah, so yeah, I don't know how much he owes, but he was found to have perjured himself. He said two conflicting statements that both cannot possibly be true. So this guy has been going around telling everybody that he's Satoshi. How many guys of you have heard of Bitcoin SV? Okay, so really quickly for the people who haven't, so Bitcoin Cash was, of course, a fork of Bitcoin. This was him and Calvin Ayre and their crew attempted a hostile takeover of Bitcoin Cash that resulted in a fork because they did a defensive chain lock. And that fork is what is now Bitcoin SV. And he claims that as Satoshi, the creator of Bitcoin, the Bitcoin SV was the thing that Bitcoin was always supposed to be. And what's so funny about this whole scenario is it's supposed to be a legally enforceable version of Bitcoin. And here the guy who's supposed to be the Satoshi behind it has perjured himself in open court. So I don't know what to say about that. But that's about all I know. Later.
Thank you. Appreciate you shedding some light on that. Oh, did you want to talk about this?
All right, just so here's a couple more notes that I've come across. Yeah, so apparently there was 3 people in the Satoshi thing, but now Craig is saying he's the only one that's still alive, and it's going to be until January 2020 that he can prove it and unlock some certain wallets, and yeah, lots of forgeries. But then that was one of the main things I was worried about because it was like, $10 billion worth of coins, I think 1.2 million Bitcoins. And the judge said, which also, by the way, is a magistrate judge, which just helps clear out the court cases from the federal judges. So this isn't even the final ruling, by the way. This is just saying, hey, I'm a judge. I listened to this BS, here's my decision. But then there's another judge on top of him, the federal judge, that's going to be like, oh, great notes, thank you, judge, other judge, for these notes, and I'll decide one way or another. So it's still got a little bit ways to go, but the main thing that caught my attention, besides a lot of all this BS, well, a couple things. One, he was like, well, the judge only made me pay out Bitcoin, so no forks, no cash, no BSV or Bitcoin Cash. Like basically he'll just get to keep those if he has those. And the other main point was that the price of Bitcoin to the judge, or the value according to inheritance tax laws, is to the day of the death of the person who died, which was 2013, some date, and Bitcoin was like a lot lower. So I think the value of those, about 500,000 Bitcoins, comes out to be about $3 million roughly, which goes underneath the $5 million inheritance tax law. So you don't have to worry about this dude dumping, $5 billion worth of Bitcoin or $500,000 worth of Bitcoin to pay his taxes immediately.
Cool. I just think, this is absurd. So, hey, how you doing? Yeah, I think it's also going to be funny if like Randall mentioned, like he's not going to have to sell his Bitcoin Cash or BSV, and like his true definition of Bitcoin might be BSV, and then I wonder if there'll be like some weird like definitional kind of thing where it's like, well, you told me I had to sell my Bitcoin, and to me, BTC is not Bitcoin. Some weird like semantical arguments they try to make. That would be really funny. I don't know.
Sorry. So what I do remember he was awarded was all of the Bitcoin that they mined together as Satoshi prior to 2013. So anything that Craig mined prior to that, and additionally 50% of all, 50% of that and 50% of all the intellectual property, because Craig filed a bunch of Bitcoin-related patents. So that half of that belongs to the estate as well.
800 patents? Are you talking about patents?
So it's highly suspect that Craig has any of the Satoshi Bitcoin, because it's highly suspect that he was ever Satoshi. He's been found legally to be buying multiple occasions.
How about this? If you do think Craig is Satoshi, just for like good conversations afterwards at Twin Peaks, would you want to raise your hand? I was just curious, like, so we can like have lively discussion. All right, anyways, all right. Well,
we have one guy.
Cool.
Oh, he interviewed him. There's an interview.
Yeah. So when I interviewed Craig Wright for like 2 hours or something, at that time he was saying he wasn't Satoshi. So it's just you have to catch him on the right day. So I interviewed Craig Wright on a podcast that Mike and I used to run for about 2 hours or so, and it didn't really. Anyways, I feel like if I interviewed him now, it'd be like completely different. But yeah, it's like he's like with the market, he's volatile. It's like either Satoshi, not Satoshi, depending on I don't know. Maybe you have a different opinion, but all right, we'll drop this topic. All right, so. I don't see Jess here. Okay. Anyways, so do y'all remember how I was talking about I was having issues with Hide.me? Remember that? Okay. So they actually stopped using BitPay, and they're using something called Coin Payments, and coinpayments.net, that is. And to be honest, Coin Payments seems legit and all this, but they stole my money. So that's the part where I was like, dude, what the hell? So with BitPay, for instance, if you send a transaction, they will forward it to the merchant, which is how that's supposed to work as like a middleman payment processor. I sent my money to Coin Payments, and they kept the money. They didn't send it to the merchant. That's why Hide.me was like, you never paid us. And it makes sense because they never received it from Coin Payments. Actually, Hide.me is our sponsor. They actually reimbursed me and gave me access for the year I paid for, fortunately. They were really nice about that. But I'd be curious if anyone has used Coin Payments before and has had any issues. The problem was...
I actually just used them.
All right, let me tell you my problem. My problem was I like to set really low fees and let it clear like whenever because my time preference is low. So it took 8 hours for my payment to clear, which is like above their threshold, right? So they like pretty much canceled the entire transaction, but they still received the money.
Paid with BCH did not have a problem.
Hey, look, let me tell you my story. So I paid with Bitcoin. 8 hours later, it cleared, but they kept the money. And then I started getting these emails saying, "Hey, talk to us on getting your refund." And I'm like, first off, I've never heard of coin payments, and this looks like a phishing attempt. I'm just like seeing like these emails come in randomly asking like to send me Bitcoin. I'm like, yeah, sure, okay, whatever. And they're like trying to give it back to me, and then because I was like 5 days late on their policy, they actually just said, no, now we're going to keep the money. You had your chance. I was like, well, why didn't you just send it to the merchant after it cleared? Like, that makes no sense. I don't know. So I talked to James about this. Seems weird that they didn't just send it, but all right. Anyways, so I'm just letting you know Hide.me is working fine. I didn't want to like make it seem like their service wasn't working or anything. So we actually have some T-shirt questions. So you see this T-shirt? Hey, Roulette. Oops, I accidentally clicked the wrong button. Hey, Roulette. So Roulette has been a leader of Tab, I would say, for a long time. He actually designed these shirts, which is really cool. Thank you so much, Brandon. And we're going to give away some for free if you answer some questions. I would like to say, if you're like an OG, give some other people a chance. I would just say, like, all right, anyways. So the first question, and this is based on if you want a T-shirt, feel free. First question is going to be, how many Bitcoins did, who was the guy that actually paid? Laszlo? Yeah. How many Bitcoins did Laszlo pay to receive 2 Papa John's pizzas? Ooh, little low. Well, we'll go with you. 10,000. What size shirt are you? Large. There you go. Oh, thanks. I don't have a T-shirt gun. If someone wants to get a T-shirt gun, then boom, you're helping out. All right, next question. This is for like newbies. So let some newbies, like first timers. All right, if you want to mine Bitcoin, what would you want to use? You look like you're an OG. You look like you invented Bitcoin, dude. Oh. There you go. What shirt size are you? Medium.
Bonus points. What does ASIC stand for?
Oh, we should have asked that.
Correct.
He got some. I gotta throw right-handed. I'm not good. All right, so this is a computer that's specifically designed to crunch 256, SHA-256 really quickly. So that's pretty much what most people use to mine Bitcoin.
A fun note, actually, once it's done doing that and it's no longer efficient anymore, it is a space heater.
All right, this is maybe more for like the Scots and OGs of the room. Where were the secret meetings held? You fucker. Hold on. Whoa. All right, you know what? Everyone gets a shirt. You get a shirt, you get a shirt, you get a shirt. All right? All right. We got 2. We have an XL and a small. So if you're small, all right, we'll give it to the women of Tab. Wrong. I threw it to a. That was meant for you. Why'd you? No, I'm just kidding. Okay. All right. So yeah, I think kind of what we forget is the Federal Reserve, how we kind of base our whole monetary system, our fiat money that we're using right now, has a super interesting story. If you want to read The Creature from Jekyll Island, that's a really good book to read to just know like how bizarre our actual money system is. And you'll start to be like, yeah, Bitcoin's weird, but makes a lot more sense maybe than our fiat money. Hey, can you pass the mic? We have a couple questions. We have Dwayne and
Hey, Mike. There's another book called Naked Money that's actually pretty good about the Federal Reserve System itself, too.
I was going to say the author, I think his name is Griffith, that wrote The Creature of Jekyll Island. He dictates the whole thing on YouTube. I think it's 12 different YouTube segments because it's so long. It's very interesting to listen to if you don't want to read the book.
That's actually really useful because I don't know if you're like me, but I don't like to read. I like to, unless it's like articles, so.
The other thing is there's a really nice 1 to 2 page summary at the end of every chapter. So you can just go through 40 pages and you'll get 400 years worth of the entire
400
books.
years?
Yeah, pretty much. All the way back to, well,
It goes like back to like the.
European time.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
And before America was America, back to the colonial days and all this kind of stuff. But yeah,
Nice.
just get the book and 1 to 2 pages at the end of the chapter. Very simple. And or put it on Audible on repeat for like 6 months, and then it'll just kind of, osmosis.
Osmosis. That's how osmosis works. Yes.
Can I
Dunk
tell-
yourself in water or something, or yeah.
Michael, can I tell a fun fact? In
Only
regards to-
only 1 or 2.
Okay,
max.
super fast. I got to sit down with Ambassador Andrew Young, who many of you know helped bring the Olympics to Atlanta and build the airport. Anyway, he told about when he was in Congress and there was the decoupling of gold from the U.S. dollar. And he said it was done during the Nixon impeachment timeframe, and there were 0 questions asked except for his. There was no debate in Congress, and he asked the question, it seems like we're separating gold and the dollar, and this is going to make it be manipulated. It's going to, make it be something that can be politicized. And he was told, young man, you will soon learn that the U.S. dollar does not need you to defend it. And I think something that all of us probably believe is that we need to defend the value that we hold, and that blockchain is a very real way to do it. So when we're looking at this and understanding that those 3 people that went into Congress and decoupled the U.S. dollar from gold, none of them had spoken to each other prior to going into Congress to do this. And this was not an act of our Congress to decouple from gold. So just think about what's happened since, 1973? And the fact that, anyway, I can run on with this, but this is history, and we are again at a point where we are making history. So be part of it.
I didn't realize. Thank you, Linda.
Yeah, that was
Give
actually
Linda
really
a
good.
little round of applause. I didn't realize
So,
when
important point she made there, really quickly. Important point. The U.S. dollar, as it exists today, has only existed since 1973. It's not a 250-year-old currency. So just keep that in mind. It's an experiment.
Yeah, it was 71 with Nixon. Yeah. Thank you, Rich.
1971.
All right. So, all right. Okay. All right. Okay. You see this thing? This is Tron. Quinn is actually probably going to be our speaker next month on Tron. I want to let you know, real quick, everyone, even you, yes, even you, John. Tron is going to give us a $1,000 open bar at Twin Peaks next month. So you don't want to miss that because that's like free food and alcohol and everything. So, so just letting you know, make sure you come next month as well because we're going to have like an open bar at Twin Peaks. And then we're also going to learn about Tron, so from Quinn. So we haven't really like evaluated Tron as a group. We talked about EOS and Cardano and some other coins, but okay, cool. So I'm just letting you know. Make sure to come. Before we go to the main presentation, I just want to say real quick. So I went to another event the other night and met some really interesting people. I actually met a guy named Chris that's running a really cool project. I would actually maybe like you to be part of TabConf or something if you're interested. But I kind of want y'all to know about this guy because he's doing a lot of really cool things. And something else I learned, there's actually something called a Mercury exchange that's based here in Atlanta. I didn't even know about it. I don't know if y'all heard about it, but and there's also Yellow Card, which is what Chris is running. And I'll kind of let Chris just say a few words about Yellow Card, if you don't mind. You want to stand up?
Oh, hey guys. Yeah, so I'm Chris. We had a blockchain panel last week at ATDC, and yeah, it was me, the guys from Mercury Exchange. Oh, there's Kel. Hey. Verandi and one other company, but yeah. So. Okay. So my company, Yellow Card, so we're the cash to crypto on ramp for emerging markets. So we help connect people in developing nations with cryptocurrency, blockchain assets, decentralized finance more broadly. So that's in layman terms, we sell Bitcoin in Africa. And so the way that we do that, we have stores set up in countries. So right now, Nigeria, and at any of these stores, you can walk in, pay in cash in your local currency, get Bitcoin, and then sell crypto assets to us, and then go pick up cash. So I guess quickly to appease the crowd, or at least Kel, the way that I got started with this was back in college. My co-founder, who's a big nerd and has been in Bitcoin since 2011, started teaching me about it, and we saw Bitcoin was being sold on eBay at a 200% markup. So we said, oh man, we can do this. So we started selling Bitcoin on eBay. We did $10,000 in sales the first day. We did $40K in sales that week, and that's when I found out what a credit card chargeback is. So didn't go too well. At that point, we started talking to our customers that were legitimate, and every single one of them had the same answer when we asked, why are you paying 100% markup for Bitcoin? Which was Coinbase takes too long. I don't want to wait 8 days. The limits are too stringent. I just want Bitcoin and I want it now. So we started thinking, well, maybe there is a market for this. At this point, we're completely triggered by the concept of plastic. So credit cards are off the table. And so what we did is we started advertising on local Bitcoins and Craigslist that you could meet up with us and give us cash, and we would give you Bitcoin on the spot. And we got a lot of interest on Craigslist and other such websites for meeting up with us and giving us cash. And so at this point, the only thing that my partner and I needed was a spot to meet up with these people and collect the cash from them. And so every Wednesday at 7 p.m. in Auburn, Alabama, you could go to the Taco Bell on College Street and buy Bitcoin with cash. We would sit there and collect a couple $1,000s in cash while we were eating dinner and give them Bitcoin. And it was doing so well that we expanded to 7 Taco Bells on the Eastern United States. So, circa 2016, at 7 Taco Bells, anywhere from Yale to Georgia Tech, on the East Coast of the United States, you could walk in and you could get some Bitcoin with your Doritos Locos taco. So yeah, soon after that, we met a guy at a Wells Fargo who was sending money over to his family in Nigeria. Wells Fargo charged him $90 to send $200 to his family. And we talked to the guy, explained to him, what Bitcoin is and that it's free, or at least at the time it was. We, thought about it when we got home, and we thought, what is his family in Nigeria going to do with $200 worth of Bitcoin, right? You can't buy food with it. You can't pay for electricity. And so with that in mind, we started talking to our co-founder, Minachi, in Lagos, and eventually he got tired of answering our questions, and he said, look, if you want to learn about the space, come stay with me for a while. So we bought 2 one-way tickets to Lagos, Nigeria, and went to go stay with a guy we met on the internet for a few months. And yeah, now I'm here, so.
Yeah, thank you. So personally, I would love for Chris to give a presentation on Yellow Card eventually, maybe in November. I don't know what our open slots are, but thank you so much, and I hope to see you coming back. So, you want to come, Daryl? Where's Daryl? Oh, sorry, Judd. Okay. So let me go to here. Okay. Perfect. So,
How's everyone doing?
can I quickly say? Yep. I just want to give a big shout out. Can we give a round of applause for Block Tech real quick? They helped organize the main speaker. So thank you so much. Like I said, if you have a speaker that you want to present, please just talk to us. So thank you.
Perfect, thanks. How's everyone doing? Good, good. So basically a little bit about Block Tech Atlanta. We're an enterprise. Essentially, we're based out of Miami. We have different chapters around the world. Atlanta, Raleigh, North Carolina. New York, we're opening a chapter. Shenzhen, China, and Venezuela and Chile. But basically, what we are is we're a mining. We host mining, basically facilities, and we do turnkey solutions for enterprise-level crypto mining. And we're also a capital investment group. What we do is we host a meetup once a month and educate the public on. We're non-biased. We're not associated with anything, but just more about research and just anything related to blockchain and crypto and mining. We actually hosted the first successful event down in Miami. It was called Mining Disrupt. It was actually like a marketplace for wholesale miners that came through. And our next event is July 22nd and 23rd next year down in Miami. So please talk to us later about the event, any sponsorship opportunities. And our speaker for today is Tom Stockmeyer with Unbound Tech. And a little bit about Unbound Tech. It's an Israeli company that applies revolutionary breakthroughs in mathematics that allows secrets to be used without ever being exposed. Pretty exciting. So I'm going to let Tom speak more on that. But a little bit about Tom's background. He's the sales director for Unbound Tech. And he served on many boards and is currently an NTSC board advisor, as well as a founder and president of the Cybersecurity Competency Group. Tom recently joined Unbound Tech, where he advises customers on PKI strategies for cloud, mobility, and blockchain. As part of the industry work, Tom is scheduled to testify before the technical review bodies of the U.S. Security and Exchange Commission and U.S. Commodity Futures Trading Commission in September. So I'm going to give a big round of applause for Tom. Thank you. Appreciate it.
This is going to be a trick. Mic, water, and a remote. So I'm the last speaker between everybody in Twin Peaks. I only have like 5 slides, and I'm a sales guy. Okay, so I will go as deep as I can go, and then I will take the 5th and follow up with a question that you have. Fair enough? So, how many architects are in the audience? Cyber. Any cryptographers? Oh, shit. People who own exchanges? Okay. So, everybody in here probably knows this, right? The main thing about blockchain, right, or anything that's crypto is protecting the key. Someone doesn't have to steal the key. They just have to use the key, right? And once they use the key, they have the funds, and those funds are unrecoverable. And that could be an external threat, but we've also seen a lot of things in the press about internal, right, internal usage. We've heard about people who die, and they're the only ones who had access to the master key, and then people couldn't retrieve their money. So let's talk a little bit about that. Anybody here ever heard of multi-party computation? A few. So it's a new thing in the cryptography space. It's been around, though, for like 35 years. It was founded back in university research back in the mid-'80s, and it's a way for different people to compute a function to get a result without ever sharing their secret. So if we wanted to figure out, the 3 of us wanted to figure out who made the most money and was going to pick up the tab for tonight, we could try and go to a trusted third party, but how would I know it's not your brother or your cousin, right? So there's really no such thing as a trusted third party. Multi-party computation would enable us to figure out who makes the most money without us sharing that information without the other person. It's a zero proof sort of thing. So the challenge with it has always been that it takes a long time to compute that function. Minutes, hours, maybe days. And not all of us are the NSA, right? Not all of us have a supercomputer on our desk. Our claim to fame, and there's many more MPC, they call it MPC, companies that are emerging. Some of you may have heard of Curve, based out of New York. They're a SaaS provider of MPC, Infoblox, There are others. Google has an effort. Unbound Tech is a different model. But basically, it's all software. And if you look at the cryptographic key, when you go to create the key, what really happens is mathematics create different pieces of the key that are stored in different places. That's really different. Different pieces of the key are created at the inception so that the whole key does not get created. It doesn't come together during rest, and it doesn't come together during use. And that's what makes multi-party computation really different. The bad guys want the key. They want to use it or steal it. And if the key never comes together, it makes it extremely difficult for the technology to be hacked. And that's what makes MPC different. It can be put on server to server. You can put the different key pieces like on-prem or in cloud, different clouds, run on different operating systems, whatnot. This is just an example of a blockchain transaction. Because the technology is, it's running on math, it's really a ledger agnostic. There are a lot of technologies out there, like multi-sig is good for blockchain. Takes a lot of customization, but if you want to run a different blockchain, right, or a different kind of coin, it's very difficult and takes a lot of programming, right? In this particular example, we're just talking about the key never exists as in its entity. It's maintained as n random shares. So you could extend out not 3 shares, that could be 20 shares, 30 shares, quorums, multiple quorums, that sort of thing. But you can see here as an example of just some of the platforms that the key share will run on, as an example. And then once the transaction's processed, it makes a single transaction to the ledger, where some of the other technologies out there hit the ledger multiple times, and that costs more money, right? In the industry, a lot of the analysts and people will think of this as the next generation of multisig. There are a bunch of exchanges that are already starting to use it and implement it. But I think the traditional architecture that most of us see in an exchange is, you know what, it's multi-sig with HSMs, a lot of the money, 80% of the money in cold wallets, very little in hot wallets, a lot of manual process on the back end, right, in order to get access to the funds, and hands-on. And what you'll find is there's a push in the industry, and it won't happen overnight, but it's happening pretty quickly. There's a push to move as much money out of cold storage and move it into hot storage, hot wallets. And what that does for the exchange is it enables them to increase their transaction flow. They can automate some of those approvals depending on some thresholds and things like that. And it's really as secure as cold wallets based on multi-party computation. I work for a company called Unbound. Our claim to fame is we figured out about 4 years ago how to make the protocols more efficient so we can do hundreds of transactions a second on a single core server. And just to scale up, you just add more cores and processors. But basically, in our space, we're FIPS certified. There's no other platform that has FIPS 140-2 level 2 certification across the platform, unless you're hardware-based. Because we're software, there's like no downtime because of the agility and the redundancy, and it's really easy to spin up more servers and load balancing. We start thinking about the security and the physical attacks. MPC in general, and this is not an infomercial for Unbound, is really developed to work in a hostile environment. If you capture one of the shares, you learn nothing about the rest of the key or the other shares. You can't do anything with it. And this is just an example of some of the technology we have. We've been at it so long in this world is like years. We're able to develop risk-based policies. So if you have an exchange today, and you have customer profiles, and you may want to say, for this customer in this set, if the transaction is less than $3,000 and it's a Monday through Friday, normal business hours, we're just going to automatically approve it without any human intervention, as an example. If it's greater than $10,000 and between 10 and 50,000, it takes a quorum of 2 out of 3 out of this group. If it's over 100 grand, Paul in the compliance office has to approve or something, right? But as an exchange, you set those thresholds according to your policies, right? So there's a lot of flexibility there from a business perspective. And then this is a real-life example of an exchange that we set up in Japan. In this particular, pardon? No. But it was an exchange that's recently had an issue this spring, but not with our technology. It made the press. So in this particular example, this is just something about how you would think about it from an exchange and how flexible you can be around the approval process, right? In this particular case, there are 6 groups, 6 approvers out of 9 potential people. So in this particular case, it could be a customer, could be a husband and wife, it could be business partners, whatever. 1 or 2 of them have to approve, right? And this can be online or asynchronous offline. Doesn't all have to be online. That's a big differentiator. From the service provider, the supervisor, 1 or 2 maybe. And then in this group, each one of these 3 have to approve, right? And they can do it from their smartphone. They don't have to come into the office. They don't have to be there in person. They get all the information they need. They can hit approve, and it works. And then in the end, trustee, depending on the size. So there's a lot of flexibility in setting up these quorums to run your business. This is really key to making this industry work. I think, just one second, I think I heard somebody talk about they put their money in and it took a while to get back out, right? Or where did it go? If you think about this world, you sort of eliminate insider trading with separation of duties. No one person, not even the owner of the business, of the exchange, has the whole key, right? There is no master. From a fraud perspective, if you're an attacker, how do you get a key share? These people could be all over the world. How do you simultaneously get a key share from one of these people? And these shares get refreshed all the time, like every half hour. You would have to crack all these people simultaneously, right? Next question. Yours. You. Mike, go ahead. No, go ahead.
All right, I got the mic back. So Mike, I know we had a little bit of a troll over here asked about Mt. Gox, but actually I was curious to follow up on that. Which exchange currently is using this?
There's a number of exchanges using this. Binance is converted.
So when you say Binance is using it, does that mean they're using Unbound's technology?
Yeah, and multi-party computation now. Yeah.
Okay, so this helps them with which cryptocurrencies?
They can deploy, it's currency agnostic.
Because I saw like on an earlier slide, it was specifically talking about ECDSA, SEP 256K1. So I was wondering if it's only like those blockchains. Oh, 25519 as well?
Yeah.
So anything that's not using those, this isn't like proven out for, this isn't working with at the moment?
The answer is for the key technology, and you're talking about the algorithm right now. New algorithms are very easy to add. We haven't had any requests to add any others yet, but it's pretty easy. The process takes about 2 months.
How does this differ from Samir's secret sharing?
In Samir's secret sharing, don't the shares come back together at some point?
Well, yeah, but I mean, in this, the shares have to come back together at some point because you have to have a private key that's associated with that point in the curve if you're using EDCSA SEP 256K1. You literally have to have at least 1 point on that curve in order to perform the calculation. So, I mean, yeah, you
But that's
may not.
Let me explain that.
Okay, yeah.
That-
What's the differentiation?
So the difference is, and let's just look at the two server example here. When you go to create a key, a share of the key gets created here, and a share of the key gets created there, right? About every half hour, it's configurable. A random coin toss, if you will, protocol takes place, and those shares get refreshed. The only thing that gets exchanged between these two servers is math. There's no key material at any one point that gets exchanged. The key never comes together.
I understand that. It never comes together there, but it does exist, and it has to be created with both of those inputs, correct?
It never exists in its entirety, ever.
So typically with Shamir's shared secret, you know the secret in advance and you break it up. This is a case where they don't know the secret in advance and they break it up. Okay, so there is more security. Question is, this is kind of a threshold signature technology. So how is this different from like, BLS signatures?
Now, that's a question I can't answer.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be a good one. Honestly, what we're talking about now are the questions that I get every time I talk, because it's very difficult for people to get their head wrapped around how is it the key can never exist, right? It's just a difficult concept. And I've been with Unbound now for about 8 months, and obviously I still have a lot to learn, right? But it works. It's obviously been tested by NIST to get FIPS approval.
Excuse me.
Citigroup has taken apart the code and looked at it line by line.
Do you have any publicly published papers that explain the cryptography behind it?
Oh, yeah. There's a
Okay.
ton of public information on the website, all the APIs. It's open source.
Yeah, I was looking for more of a white
Same.
paper, but yeah.
Yeah, we have white papers. We have peer reviews from other cryptographers, all kinds of stuff like that.
The Unbound?
Unboundtech.com.
Okay.
Unboundtech.com.
Unboundtech.com.
And then I blocked off the logos because I'm not supposed to show those. But one company, Liquid, which is a coin company, regulated exchange in Japan, they used to have 80% of their money in cold wallets. They now have 80% of their money in hot wallets based on our technology, and their transaction volume has like quadrupled overnight. They have what? Okay, that's good to know.
I have a very technical question. How do you make money?
We license our software. But I'll tell you a funny story. So I was in the interview process, and like anybody can put anything down on PowerPoint, it doesn't mean it's true, right? So the VP of sales is talking to me, and he's talking about these professors who've invented this thing, and they're world-renowned. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. What are their names? So I write them down, and we finish the call, and I go look them up, and I'm like, I still remember yelling out, holy shit. And my wife comes running like, are you okay? And I'm like, no, look at this. These two guys have written like 15 textbooks on cryptography. They give speeches. They've advised the NSA. These guys are the real deal if you look them up. So Professor Uta Lindell is our CEO, and Nigel Smart. These two guys know their stuff. They're known for this. That stuff works. Any other questions? I either did a really good job or everybody's really thirsty.
Certificates?
No, not to issue certificates, but to protect certificates. Yeah, so as an example, IBM uses us for code signing. They're signing about 300,000 releases of code a month at this point, with about 60,000 developers on this. It used to be, if you go to most places, the developer has the certificate on their laptop or their desktop or on a thumb drive, right? And they're signing code, and that's a big industry issue right now. Not only for companies, almost every company's a software company, right? And how are you pushing out that code? And in the supply chain, right? So there's a good example of the way this technology can be used outside of the blockchain space. Is that it? Anything else?
Okay, thank you, Tom.
Thank you. Great group.
Tom, are you going to Twin Peaks? Absolutely. So Tom will be at Twin Peaks if you want to ask him those private technical questions that you're embarrassed to ask in front of everyone. I know I do that sometimes. So yeah, we are going to Twin Peaks. I would like to say, if you do want to help us run this meetup group, one thing that we're really looking for is someone to do like our social media stuff. Post on Twitter, post some of the pictures from here on Instagram, stuff like that. If you want to help do that, because I think we're providing a neat service for people like to get some free information, and I just kind of want us to spread that to other places, just besides Atlanta, or to Atlanta and people who can't make it. So just come talk to me afterwards if you want to help run that with us. So thanks. All right, I'll see y'all at Twin Peaks, and make sure to go to the BitPay booth real quick and say hi to them too. Yeah. Hey, everybody.
Hey, everybody.
We have to evacuate. This is not a drill. Please be orderly.